What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Playbook here on the Boise Beat. As always, I got my co-host with me, Alan Senior, and Chris, aka Butagoon,
You're
and the boy Hondo Rondo coming back today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Had to
Yes,
do it.
sir.
But before we jump into play-in tournament, which has been going on the last few days, let's jump right into something we've been talking about recently to pick back up on there. Betting scandals around the MLB and the NBA. First off, Otani, his name has been cleared, deemed innocent. Interpreter is guilty. But the one we didn't worry
Scumbag.
about is scumbag. Yeah, the one we didn't worry about, Jontay Porter, brother of Michael Porter Jr., has been banned for life.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
NBA.
That's some
That's
crazy news
crazy.
today.
Let's start with you, Pops.
Yeah, well, he's a second string. He's on a two-way contract. I think they're just making an example out of him. He's stupid enough to get caught betting, and now he's going to pay the price. If they'd been a superstar or something like that, it'd be interesting what
Yeah,
they would have done, But he's going to be an example. He's going to be a big example because he's banned for life. Yep.
yeah. And who knows how different it would have been if it had been his brother, Michael Porter Jr., who is a big name in the NBA these days and is an NBA champion. And it looks like they said Jontay Porter's account was created in Denver, Colorado, which is where his brother plays. That's where he runs his FanDuel or whatever it had been. But
He took
yeah,
betting on himself seriously, man. You know what I mean?
yeah, he bet
Yeah.
on himself, right? Happens. Butagoon, you got any thoughts? You smiling over there?
I mean, I just think it's crazy, bro. I mean, absolute nuts, absolutely nuts. But yeah, maybe all I'm saying is maybe Michael Porter's up something. Maybe he's up something. Just
Yeah,
keep your
that's
eyes
what I'm
open.
saying.
Keep your
Yeah,
eyes
for
open.
real. No, it's definitely crazy. I mean, that's extreme. Lifetime ban. That quick.
Yeah.
But
Right with
makes
Pete
sense, though.
Rose. Right up there with Pete Rose, man.
Yeah.
Would they
If
have
you
done
want
the
to
same
keep the
with Shohei? I wonder if they'd done the same to Otani if he'd been caught.
I don't think so.
know. Kind of
you
doubt
have
it.
it's the integrity of the game, man.
I don't think they
Yeah.
would
That's
have. Maybe suspend him a season or two, but
Yeah,
you don't do that to
Yeah.
the face of the MLB.
yeah. No
Yeah.
way. No way.
Pete Rose is already retired. They didn't care.
Yeah.
He's just a manager.
Yeah, but while we're on the topic of Michael Porter Jr., let's just jump right into it to the NBA play-in because the Nuggets, being the number 2 seed, they now have their matchup for first round. Since Lakers won their game last night,
Yeah.
after a match with the Pelicans, the Nuggets will
Yeah.
have a rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals where they swept the Lakers to go to the NBA Finals. Pops?
Yeah, it'll be the same thing this year. I don't look for maybe LA might get lucky and win one game, but it's a number 2 against a number 7 seed. So of course, that's what you expect. Nuggets are just too good right now.
Yeah. They're pretty stacked. Their starting lineup
Oh
is
yeah.
phenomenal. And the Lakers have just had LeBron and
Actually
AD.
get one. They might get one.
Maybe.
They'll probably get one in LA just because Denver gives it to them by some fluke mistake.
Yeah,
But
just because
Yeah.
of
I mean,
LeBron, they won't want
it's
him
gonna
to
be
go
game
out and get
3, the
swept again.
travel. So it's
I
travel.
don't expect anything more than a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
I think
A lot of
it's a
conspiracy
wrap.
too. A lot of people are saying
Just
they're
get
gonna
it over
lose this
with.
game
Let's
to avoid
move
playing
on.
Denver.
Yeah.
So
I think
Yeah,
Pelicans gave him a better game, but who knows if
No,
Pelicans will be in
they're
there.
done too. They're done too, Pops. It's over for them.
Well, they're done now for sure. Once Zion's good,
Zion's
sure.
done.
come on, bro.
I'm
well,
not sure they can beat Sacramento.
I mean, let's be honest. Watching the game last night,
We beat them 5 times already. We beat them 5 times.
yeah, but watching yesterday's game, I mean, Zion was the sole reason that the Pelicans were in that game. I
Yeah.
mean, he had one of the better games. I would say he definitely did earn
Yeah.
my respect, but I mean, he went out and yeah, they didn't really
Yeah.
do much after Brandon
40
Ingram.
points, huh?
They didn't
And
really show up to
Dog.
play.
Brandon Ingram was supposed to be their second best player. What did he get? 11, something like that. They can't win
He's on
like
minutes
that with their
restriction.
second best player getting 11 points. You know?
Yeah.
They didn't play him. He's on minutes restriction apparently.
And even
Some BS is this. I don't know, but that's what they said. So what can I say?
even their starting center only got 4. What's his name? Valanciunas?
Yeah,
Valanciunas.
JV hasn't been playing solid minutes
I can
since
see why,
beginning
man.
of March.
Well, let's go to
Give him a chance.
let's go to Buttergoon on this because he's the Pels fan here, and obviously
Yeah.
when we've had him on in the past, we've talked about Pelicans and how their future rests on Zion and if he can stay healthy. And he had been up to this point and had a phenomenal game as we expected, but left with the hamstring injury. So we're gonna leave. Let's leave the floor to Buttergoon right here. Talk his Pels right now.
Yeah, let's hear about Pelicans.
So I mean, here's the thing. Realistically, I still think they could beat Sacramento. I think they could. But I mean, their chances of beating OKC down the drain.
Yeah.
So I think this goes to yet another season where the Pelicans front office says, if only we were healthy.
Yeah.
Which then causes them to make no off-season moves, which if you watch it, we probably do need a new center. I love me, big science. Shout out JV.
Mm-hmm.
But they just don't use him right. So we need to get a center that we're going to use. And we need a point guard. We need a legit one. We have two, but they come off the bench. So because we have CJ. So what do you do there? But the Pels are going to knock it up as another or chalk it up as another season where they go, hey, we were hurt. We could run it back next year and probably get a good chance.
Yeah.
So, it's tough to be excited, but it's also at the same time, it's tough to be disappointed because we saw what Zion could do healthy. Scored 40
Off
points.
season in the Bayou, that's for sure.
Well, you guys got a chance to get a lottery pick now. Just when Sacramento gets done.
Yeah, that's the only problem is we have so much depth already. So, what do we do? Trade it for more picks?
Yeah.
We could couple it and trade BI.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
true.
a fan of that, but that's what people be saying.
And that's frustrating too.
And it's hard to doubt after this last game.
Because
BI's been hurt, so I'm a big BI guy, so it's just hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
And I get you too, because BI has shown flashes of being one of the best in the game. Being a top kind of player. But I mean, we've talked about it. Everyone knows the Pelicans are Zion being healthy away from who knows how good. Nobody knows the ceiling for them. Because obviously the floor is getting bounced first round or being in the play-in. But when Zion is healthy, nobody knows how good this team really can be. Because everyone knows Zion can be one of the best in the league if he's healthy. And so I get how frustrating that is to every season just happen to have the worst luck at the wrong time. That's got to be very frustrating.
Well, and
it
should be good too. When BI got hurt, we were a 4th seed.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, we fell all the way down to a 7th seed, now possibly an 8th seed.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
There's only a couple games. There's only a couple games separating you from a 4 seed, though. So that's how close it was.
We kind of fumbled once we got some injuries, and I don't know, man. It's like you said, it's tough to because you can never be like, what do we truly need? Because you never know. Every season ends in a question mark. What do you do?
You go get Zion a running mate. That's what you go do.
Have you seen BI play healthy? He's good, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. When they're healthy, they're good, but you can't. They're never on that.
This offseason, they might have to choose between the two, which is that's a very hard decision because both of them, when healthy, are very good, but you don't know what you're going to get. It's hard to invest in that.
It's Zion. They keep Zion. They can't. You can't just give him up like that.
Very true. Let's talk because we had one question. The first question was Is it usable, Greg? Oh, come on, man.
That's a little
Get
disrespectful,
outta
man.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
And trust me,
Get this-
we
Get him
disrespect
out of
Zion
here.
a lot on this
He's
podcast.
fat.
We
They don't
disrespect
call
him
him
a
Greg
lot.
Oden, no.
So yeah, Greg, that's
Yeah.
major. But the first question we had was, is this Celtics team currently better than the '08 Celtics team? Hondo, Rondo, I'll let you answer this one.
Well, I got inspiration today. You know, I have a bunch of Celtics jerseys, but I've got the KG jersey on today.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and say no. I don't think so. I think this year's Celtics team has more of an efficient offense. I mean, don't get me wrong. KG with the grit and the grind and the defense of that '08 team is literally what carried us to that. But um, I just don't think they had what this team has. You know, they're still top five in defense, both and offense. Um, Celtics team in '08, you know, I mean, for as great as they were, you know, they were 16-10 in the playoffs. I mean, we'll see what this run goes to, you know, for these
Yeah,
guys,
still got to
but
win it. Yeah.
they
That's
still got to win
exactly where
it,
it
you
comes
know.
down to.
They've got to win it. If they don't, then yeah, obviously you're going to choose the '08
Yeah.
team, but I
Mhm.
mean, it's just hard to pick. You're going to have Derek White on an all NBA defensive team. You're going to have two all NBA players in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Um, Drew Holiday should be up there in defense. Kristaps Porzingis is really good this year. I mean, he's had a historic shooting season. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'd have to say this year's team.
Yeah.
Well,
Patrick
well,
yesterday said job's not
yeah,
done.
Job's not
well,
finished.
all I have to say is if they win the championship, I'd say this year's team. But if they don't, then there's no way you can compare them to '08. They have to win it. That's what it comes down to. I mean, they were historic in scoring this year, set the record for the most points per game, and they were in the top five in win margin, and then they're number two in defense. They got it all, but until they win that championship, you can't put them with any other Celtic champions.
Yeah.
Until then, once they do, if they do, oh my lord,
Dynasty.
Yeah. Yep.
How many times
Yeah.
can they keep? How many times can they keep being so close
I know.
and just keep fumbling the bag?
They're compared to the
away,
49ers.
You know, sooner or later they got to drop that nuke on that team,
I
man.
know. And
yeah,
I
They're-
mean,
they're kinda right in
they
saying that if they don't do
technically
it.
they technically did this last offseason though. I mean, you traded a
they
really
did.
Marcus
They
Smart
trade,
and
they
Robert
trade that
Williams.
whole team, man.
They shook it up,
So if they
and I
don't do
mean,
it, what
so
do they
far,
do now? Then they really blow
And
it
this
up.
team,
Yeah,
and
they
this
have
team
to.
is signed. Is going to be signed for 4 more years together. I
I mean,
they're not going
regardless,
anywhere. If we signed Derek
regardless,
White,
yeah.
if we signed Derek White, our top five are signed for 3 or 4 more years. So
yeah.
I mean, I think you just run it back at if you don't
yeah,
win the finals this year, you have to. You put so much money into
Yeah.
them, you just got to go run it back. This isn't
Yeah.
this is now. If we had Marcus Smart and those guys still, I mean, yeah, obviously you blow it up, but where
yeah,
this is the first year as all of them as one group, and they're already putting up historic numbers. I mean, yeah, sure, they are definitely the favorites to win it, and it's a win the title or bust season, but you definitely have to run it back.
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
season they lost in the finals. The owner, Wick Grosbeck, went to Brad Stevens, the GM, and told him, because they had tried to run that roster back. And last year, after they lost to the Heat in 7, the owner went to Brad Stevens and said, "Hey, we cannot win with this group. You're going to shake it up." And he shook it up completely. Traded the heart and soul Marcus Smart. No one saw it coming. So to get Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, 2 big-time guys, like, this team is not going anywhere anytime soon. They're fully invested already, championship or not, into this team that they got now.
yeah.
And we'll see how it plays out. I mean, they went 64 and 18 this year. 08, they went 66 and 16. You know, like, they're right there, man. And the championship or busted this season. And they're going to have a little, hold on. Before we get to this, actually, let me answer this question. We were asked, how long do Jaylen and Jason, appreciate you, Derek. Appreciate you, bro. How long do Jaylen and Jason have together? Who goes first if it happens? And I think we're gonna have those guys both for a long time. That's the plan.
Yeah.
I think like
Jason's
Pop
not
said,
going anywhere.
we've got them all locked up for. I mean, obviously Jason's gonna get his money once his contract extension comes up. But I think, yeah, we've got our starting five for the next 3-4 years. But if one's got to go, it's going to be Jalen. Jason Tatum's going to be a Celtic for life.
Yeah, I was
is
gonna say
definitely
Jalen's out the
something for
door
life,
quick
man.
if it comes up.
Yeah. But Jalen,
Don't
I
get
don't know. I
and
think
don't
Nothing
get
Jalen
too
me.
would
much
be
about it.
we keep those two together. Wouldn't that be something? It'd be
Mhm.
like Bird and McHale. Both stayed the whole time
I,
with the
I
Celtics.
honestly think we do, though. I mean, I think you build around them since day one. I mean, all the major medias have been saying they can't play together, but
Yeah.
every year they've improved. I mean, this year Jalen Brown
They
has
improve
taken
every
that.
year.
He has impressed me so much, man. That guy is,
Well,
especially the second half of the season, he is just blown up both on offense and defense.
and
Yeah, but
granted,
Buttergoon.
this year's not done, but I think everybody's gonna gauge them off, titles, and they haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
And so, and every offseason, Jalen Brown's name's in trade talks. Every
that's just
offseason.
bad.
Not
That's
this
just
year.
And
awesome.
so,
Not this past year.
well,
Hasn't.
all right, one out of what last six?
You
I mean,
gotta
you know what
play.
I'm saying. So
That's
Gotta
because
play.
they signed him
just,
for 5 more years, man.
Yeah,
but
Yeah,
trades
he's
can
I'm
not
happen
just
at
going
any
anywhere.
saying,
point. You know what I mean?
I'm,
So it's
I'm
just
just
like
saying, any
I don't know. And
you
if
got
they
to
don't,
look at
if
their
they keep
age.
not, if they still not win, what is that going to say about them? They're going to
I
eventually
just
figure out. Well, it's got to be one
Hey,
of those
I
guys.
just say look at their age. You can't expect a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old to win it all in their first year, regardless of what their seed is. It
They're in
it
their
takes
prime now.
experience. Yeah, no, I mean they're in their prime now, but it takes experience in the playoffs, deep playoff runs to know what you need to do to win it.
Yeah,
I mean,
They've
if
Jordan
you
had
didn't
deep
ex
win until
playoff
he was
runs.
28.
They've had deep playoff runs though. That's the
LeBron
thing.
didn't win
They've
until
always
he
had
was
deep
in his
playoff
mid
runs.
till
Yeah, but like I
27.
said, you look at all these Hall of Famers. Curry won his what when he was after 27. KD
yeah.
won his almost
Jordan,
30.
LeBron.
I mean, it
Yeah,
just takes time for them to understand the game.
Yeah,
And I say this all the time because yeah, sure they had all those deep playoff runs, but they were also 22, 23. It
yeah,
yeah.
takes
they
time.
weren't ready.
Yeah, but I mean,
Look,
who's to say LeBron doesn't win that '07? He doesn't play the fucking big three at the Spurs with the bums
yeah.
Cavs squad, dude. I mean, come on now.
This
So
guy
it's things
Augustus.
like that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I get it. I get what you're saying. Experience helps and
But
everything.
that's
But
LeBron James. He's been the
they also,
chosen one since high school.
well, I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
but
No,
I
Buttergoon's
get
got a
it.
point.
That's what I'm saying. I get what your point is with the whole experience thing. It's just they made it 2 years ago. They got knocked out in seven to a clearly inferior Heat team.
6 actually, but yeah.
Six, so
But
even worse. But and it's
no,
they have the real shot this year. I feel like if you don't win it though this year, I feel like it's a big letdown.
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel
I
it.
feel like this is the most hyped year for sure because like all the past years you could say, oh, you see some weaknesses, and everybody throughout the league is like, yeah, we'll see. But this year it seems like everybody is really taking them serious. Like, okay, these guys are for real now. The way they beat teams, they've blown them out. Like they've shown they're a whole nother level compared to years past.
Embiid
I mean,
played so good tonight because he didn't want to see his Dominican dad in the first round.
Al Horford, yeah,
That's
Yo,
how bad they
exactly.
wanted to
take it
avoid him.
easy, dude.
He does not
Take
want to
it
see Al
easy.
Horford. And how far will Jimmy Buckets take the Heat? And that's something I wanted to bring up too, because Miami, if they win this next game, they will be the 8th seed to play the Celtics as the
Yeah,
number 1 seed, which would be a rematch of last year. Remember, last year Miami
last 3
swept
years.
Milwaukee, but last year Miami swept Milwaukee in the
hmm
first round, shocked everybody before they made a
Beat
run.
them 4-1, I think, right? 4-1.
Yup, for
Yeah.
one,
And then
and
they went on to beat New York.
and then the Celtics, and they went all the way to the finals. But this year, it's a new Celtics team. They're looking for revenge. And a little update: Jimmy Butler, after the game against the Sixers, is going to have an MRI on his knee.
Ooh,
So who
Um,
knows? Hard to
ooh.
carry a team on your back with a bum knee.
I
So
just
we'll
That was
thought
Greg
see.
Jennings. That was
the
Greg Jennings.
Greg Jennings.
the
Yeah,
last 2 years with the Heat, last year the Heat did get hot towards the end of the season. I didn't
Mhm.
see that from the Heat much this year. Not to mention Jimmy Butler put up 17 points today when it's
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, playoff time, watch out. Like,
He blamed it on his knee, dude. And he's been talking so much recently about watch out, and their record has been below 500 since he said that. And I love nothing
Yeah.
more than to see Jimmy Butler look like an idiot,
you know,
Like, I just
I
love it.
kind of hope we see them in the first round so we can sweep them, and every
I
game we
do. I
just beat
want to
them
see
up.
him.
But
I want to knock him out.
I just want to put them down, put them out of their misery.
Yeah,
Beat
Yeah.
them by
it's called
20 every single night.
Yeah, I'd
take
love
care
that.
of the ghost. The ghost. Put the ghost to bed, man.
Yeah.
That's everybody's.
I'm just so sick and tired of hearing people say that we need to be worried.
You know,
about the
last year
Heat.
it took an
too.
historic 3-point shooting in that series, man. It was historic. Guys were hitting 45, 43, 45%.
I'm right there. Hey, Pops,
Guys that
Pops,
had
you're
their
preaching
shot
to the
good.
choir. I'm right there with. I don't know how many times I tell people that they sold their souls against us.
Dude.
Yeah.
Max Strus,
Because
Gabe Vincent looking like all-stars out there. Caleb Martin, are you kidding me?
they got to
Oh
the
my
finals
goodness.
and they
Sue 'em.
just.
And they couldn't
Sue
make
'em.
a shot.
They went back to normal. They went back to normal for the finals.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That was the most
If we'd
heartbreaking. That
got
was the most
that Heat
frustrating
team,
thing
we'd
ever
have
to watch.
won.
Oh yeah.
But honestly, I think the way the Bulls were. I mean, I was just watching the Bulls game. I don't know if they're winning or not, but I think
They
if they
were
see the
for a
Bulls,
while.
Yeah.
Hawks are coming
just-
back.
oh goodness. See, I'd be a little more worried about the Hawks, but even then, it's like I still see a 5-game series against them.
Yeah. I mean, Celtics beat them in 6 last year. Should have beat them in 5, but the Bulls this year, they don't have. Patrick said haunts me to this day. The Miami Heat. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Everyone.
Bulls, they don't have Zach LaVine. He's out for the season, right? So it's kind of
Oh,
they're
I
left
didn't
with.
even know that.
Oh yeah, he's been
He
out
got
for
hurt
a
a
Hey,
while
while.
but
ago.
DeMar
they're with
DeRozan's been balling.
Yeah, that's who they're left with, and they got to ride his coattails if they plan on, winning a few. But it's a tough matchup facing the number 1 seed.
Oh yeah, we're not. I don't think Celtics worried about any of them really right now. Should they be?
Buttergoon, you got something to say?
No, he's still bummed.
Nah, dude. I mean, hey, man. I'm just saying, the playoff Heatles, man. you don't play with the
Man,
Heat, man. They made their own kind of brand, man. So
they are.
almost dropped my
We
We
phone,
shouldn't have
but
brought up. We shouldn't have brought up the Pelicans till later on because I think it just now he's
I got
all
my
sad.
hurt spirits out of the way, dude.
Now he's
So
all
do you
hurt.
guys got your predictions for who wins the matchups for Friday? As far
Friday
as
is
for the 8th seed on both sides of the bracket.
Pelicans.
Pelicans and
Mm.
Kings on
Give me
Friday.
the Pels, and then they lose
I think-
in 5
I-
to OKC. We give
I
them
think it depends on Zion. Is Zion going to be back?
He's
no,
out
he's
on
got a hammy.
Friday.
He's out for 2 weeks.
He won't. He's
That's why I said good night, Pelicans.
I tell you
We
what.
beat them
Yeah.
5 times, bro. We beat them 5 times.
Yeah, I tell you what. If Zion's healthy, I even would have them beating OKC first
I
round.
could see him beating OKC.
Yeah,
in the
we
first round,
would've.
too.
But no Zion. I don't think they'll get through Sacramento.
No, we'll
I
get
don't
5.
either.
We'll
really
get
don't.
beat in 5. We'll get beat in 5. We'll get 1
You
game.
got to beat Sacramento first.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah.
We will.
Okay.
I'd take the
Hey,
Watch
Kings.
good
this-
luck.
watch
I
this-
kind
watch
of
this not
hope
work
the
out.
Pels do beat Sacramento, but then I don't know where they go from there though.
See, the thing
Yeah.
is, though, CJ can play like the last couple games. Not like, against the Lakers.
Now
He
with
plays like
Brandon
he did
Ingram
last-
and
yeah.
JV playing like they have been, you're not going to go any further.
Sabonis has been.
They have to up their game,
Sabonis has
man.
been scary to this year. Okay,
Bro,
he's
JV,
Yeah.
JV handles Sabonis. I ain't worried
But
about it.
Put some respect.
defensively, Sabonis
Y'all
is
don't watch them
not there.
Pelican games. I know you don't.
No,
I know
but
you
put
don't.
some.
Don't
put
be
some
talking like I
respect.
You know
know
what?
you don't watch
Who
them
does?
Pelican
I
games.
watch the
Pelicans.
Pelicans every
Nobody
time they
does.
put them on TV, so that's about 4 or 5
They don't get on
times
TV.
probably.
They don't get up.
I do. I watch them.
But hey, put some respect on DeMontis Sabonis' name, man.
Exactly.
That guy is a baller.
All
That guy
NBA.
is a stud, man.
He's
Just imagine if the Kings had, instead of traded who was it,
Yeah.
Halliburton, they would have kept him with
Halliburton,
Sabonis.
man.
Imagine.
That would be nasty.
But while we're on the topic, guys, of talking the Kings, because the reason they're here still is because They blew out the Golden State Warriors in a night where Clay went 0 for, and they're talking about his career may be over. And the
Yeah.
memes have just been pouring in. I mean, Clay
Well,
Thompson.
his
See, there
career,
you go.
Ah.
There's a
Oh.
picture of Clay.
Clay's career is not over, but maybe for the Dubs it is. For the Warriors,
Yeah.
I think it might be done, but he's still got some. He's got
If
some
he
time left in
if
the
he
game. But he
if he
wants a
wants
$30
his
million contract, and are they going to pay him that much? I don't
yeah,
know.
if he wants max money, he's going somewhere else. I've been listening to some podcasts, been hearing that the Magic might pursue him. I don't know.
This
Who's
guy
giving
and the
him max
Magic,
money
man.
though after this playoff
I
performance,
think the
Scott?
Magic would be a good team for him, man. They need some veterans. A veteran.
Mhm.
Like the last like 2.5 years, Clay hasn't played well at all.
Well,
Really.
he's been hurt so much.
Oh,
That
You
finals
know?
ever since he
run,
came back from his Achilles, really, he hasn't just.
yeah. Well, that finals run, that playoffs run that they had, of course, that was vintage Clay. All of a sudden, he comes back and he's phenomenal, beats the Celtics. You know, Celtics just get everybody apparently in their primes on their best
Hmm.
shooting nights of their
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah,
tired of it.
The Bulls are up
Everyone knows.
18 after 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
probably going to
probably
be
sounding
Bulls.
like it's Bulls and Heat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd take the Bulls. I'm gonna take the Bulls.
I don't know.
I think the
Is Jimmy going
Bulls.
to be there? I think it's the same thing as Pelicans. Is Jimmy going to be there? That's the question.
Yeah.
I ain't scared of Jimmy no more.
Don't
I think the
Don't
say
Bulls.
say
that.
no more.
Don't
Although,
say
hey,
that. And then he beats us
I
in
will say
Boston.
this though. Their zone defense for whatever reason haunts everybody in the league. That first half
Yeah.
against the Sixers, they were just giving it to them, and it took Embiid and Nick Batum. Nick Batum. We're talking about Nick Batum in 2024
Yeah.
to go
Batum.
off, to go off
Shout out
and
Nick Batum, bro.
and get them the dub. But I mean, yeah, I'd love to see the Heat, but I think the Bulls should take them. It'd be a
Yeah,
rematch of last year's
I'd like to see
playing
the
game.
Celtics play the Heat, to tell you the truth,
yeah.
just to put them away for good.
I think the
Yeah.
Celtics need
Bury
it.
bury them.
I think the Celtics need a team to wake them up early in the playoffs because they had sat their guys, their starters, for so
Exactly.
many games the last 2 weeks. They're going to be rusty. You don't want to catch a hot Miami team out of nowhere, catching you off guard. But I think it would be a good wake-up call to get them refocused for the whole playoffs. And who knows,
Yep.
that could be scary for the Celtics.
Was
A nightmare scenario.
the 08 Celtics when they played the Hawks? They went to 7
Yep.
or 6?
They
Yeah.
went 7 with
I mean,
Seven
I
in
could
the
see the
first
Heat. I
series.
could see the Heat doing that to us in the first round.
Yeah, I
Mm,
could see
I
it
don't
too.
think so. I don't see it.
I could just
If
see
the
Jimmy
Celtics,
somehow doing it.
the thing with the Celtics, the only way they don't make it to the finals is if they beat themselves 4 times.
Dude, they be doing
Exactly. They did it
some dumb
last
stuff
year.
in the
they
playoffs sometimes.
did it last year
They
against
did,
Miami.
do
They
it
be doing
last
some dumb
year.
stuff
Not
in the
this year. It ain't
playoffs
gonna
sometimes.
happen this year.
I don't
Well,
think
did
so.
you guys see that video of Bleacher Report that they did? And they show the Celtics, and they're all, "Oh no, we're worried about the Celtics." And then it shows Jimmy Butler's character, and he's like, "Don't worry about them. They play down to your level." And it's like, dang, like that is so true.
It's
Yeah,
true though.
that was
So
Like
true.
last year though, not this year though.
I think
Let's
that's
see it.
another thing too. Is Joe Mazzulla last year literally had to coach the team by himself in the playoffs. Everyone
Yeah,
got
I know.
hired and
They
taken
left.
they're
from
ready
him.
to go. They're 1 foot out the door. Like they didn't want to
And
be, which is crazy to me.
I
Just
think
when he lost Stoudemire, that was a big one, man.
yeah,
When
Mhm.
Stoudemire left.
that was his right hand man. And I just think this year with the full coaching staff, a second year under his
Oh,
belt, I think
great coaching staff, man.
they're gonna be really good. I think he'll be ready. I think he's finally gotten his feet under him as a coach, and he knows what it takes. I mean, it's
I think, yeah, I think just as big about picking up Porzingis and Drew Holiday is
Sam
picking up
Cassell.
those coaches, Sam Cassell and that Charles
Mhm.
Johnson.
not to
Those were
mention
just
Steve Van
those were
Gundy
just as
too.
big a pickups.
Yeah. Van Gundy coming to the Celtics. They've had an all-star like coaching staff, honestly, this year.
Yeah, they really have. It's made a big difference.
It's theirs to lose, man. It's theirs to lose.
It really is.
Yeah.
And
We'll see.
it's like everyone says the Celtics, it's a walk in the park in the East because, it's not as close and not as dominant as the West is. So really,
It's
if the Celtics don't come out and breeze through this conference, like I think it shows a lot. And if you face a team like the Nuggets in the finals, you're gonna need to be
That's
fresh. You're gonna have
that's
to
the big one right
Dude,
there.
you have to
Facing the
close out the game
Nuggets.
you need to win because you don't want to go into a series against the Nuggets banged up after long series with everybody else, which that should have been short. Like Miami, they just got through a brutal 7-game series last year against the Celtics. By the time they got to the finals, they were done for. They were just depleted. They had no gas in the tank left for the Nuggets,
Yeah,
and the
and I
Nuggets
think
took
I
care of them.
think the Nuggets only lost like 2 games in the whole playoff run last year.
Yep. And the
Yeah.
West is different this year, though. So maybe
The
the
West
Wolves
is a
could be even worse.
gauntlet.
dude,
It is.
49 wins in the East get you the 3rd seed.
I
49
know.
wins in the West
49
gets you the
wins is the third
play-in.
seed.
That's crazy, bro.
So
I
how
mean,
about
you
the
get
3 and 6 seed in the West? Who we got? It's the Suns and the who else?
Clippers,
Timberwolves.
the T-Wolves.
Timberwolves.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, see,
Yeah, the 3 and 6, yeah, the
Timberwolves,
7, the
Nuggets,
T-Wolves.
and OKC gonna could give anybody trouble in the West, in the East. You never
You
know.
know,
They'll be good games.
I think Minnesota wins it, but I think the Suns cause a little issues in Minnesota.
I don't know, dude. The Suns play good against the T-Wolves. I mean, like, and it's tough to say that because you're like, well, yeah, no, duh, they have 3 All-Stars, but you're like, no, for real. Like, there's just certain teams that just match up better. The Suns match up pretty well against the T-Wolves.
They don't have a
Well, hey,
bench.
like I said before,
They just have
until
to
I
shoot.
can see Rudy Gobert go in an ISO and be able to guard and not give up points,
Hmm.
I'll have trust in that defense. But Rudy Gobert is my main concern. Not to mention Cat's coming off his injury. We don't know what he's gonna be.
He's got to
You
be on a
know,
minutes restriction.
I was reading somewhere where Stratomatic, they simulate the whole season for all the teams, and
Mhm.
they predicted the Celtics go 64-18 and win the championship. And before the season, nobody even thought about the Timberwolves really, and they had the Timberwolves winning the West and playing the
Mhm.
Celtics in the
I
finals.
mean,
That's
I mean
crazy.
their defense has been number one
It's
all
Yeah,
so
year.
number
good.
one all
I
year.
mean,
It's
as
so
long as
good.
their offense can stay
McDaniels
somewhat
is a dog.
consistent, but they've been winning
Mhm.
games with their defense. They've been grinding it out. They remind me of the 22 Celtics, They freaking just grind out games and win it by defense.
Yeah,
And the question
Yeah,
from Gabe Strain
I don't
was,
know.
is their offense consistent enough to take it to the Western Conference Finals? I believe um, that's a big question. I mean, anybody in the West can make a run depending on getting the right path. I mean, you've seen the Lakers
Hmm.
last
Yeah,
year. Of course, LeBron made it to the Western Conference Finals because of the path that he had. I mean, they match up well with the Suns, in my opinion, because of the fact that the Suns have struggled all year because they've had no big man. They've had no presence in the paint. And then Timberwolves got the 2 biggest guys out there, which is rare in today's game. But they got Gobert and Cat, and I think that could cause some issues for them. And if they get hot with a guy like Anthony Edwards, who's a future, like possibly face of the NBA, a guy like that, he could carry them pretty far with Cat. And I could see them making the Western Conference Finals. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. That's one of those teams that's like,
yeah.
you're going to have to see it to believe it come playoff time because of their youth,
I
you know. Tondo Rondo, what you think?
I mean, yeah, I 100% agree with you. And like I said, Anthony Davis or not Anthony Davis, Ant's gonna show up. He's gonna show up. But the main concern is gonna be how Cat does coming off this injury. If he
bro.
can get back to playing and shooting the ball from three as well as he was all season, I think they've got a strong chance to get to the Western Conference Finals. They've been pretty good, but like I said, that defense is what's carried them since Cat's gone down, and
Mm,
I think that can give them a series or two.
yeah, Buttergoon.
Yeah.
It can. Yeah, it definitely can. It all depends on who's hot. You know what I mean? Like in the playoffs, sometimes it's not who's the best team; it's who's the hottest team. And yeah, if they can get hot with Cat coming off the injury, of course. But if not, and he's minutes restriction, and if he's kind of stinking up the court, he's just going to cause he's gonna cause a disruption of that offense. So we'll see. But I know one guy that'd like to see that. So I'll just
Yeah, earn balls. Oh my gosh, we never hear the end of it. But who knows if the Suns can get hot? I mean, we've been waiting on them all year. Pops, what do you think?
Yeah, they just have no bench, and then all three of those superstars haven't been healthy at the same time.
Yeah.
I think how many games they played together this year? Maybe 20.
Not many. Yeah,
Not
not
many.
many.
I think it's like right around there.
And so, and they're going to have to win with offense because they don't have much of a defense. So, and their bench, they don't have a bench. But if those three guys get hot at the same time, it's possible. But
I think it's
you
crazy.
got Durant, you got a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's crazy that you look at all the matchups in the West and it's really just a pick 'em.
It really is.
I mean, go ahead.
My favorite matchup to look forward to in the West is the Clippers versus the Mavericks. Because I think whoever wins that series can make a deep run. I mean,
well,
Luka versus Kawhi. Come on,
hey, not to mention, I was looking it up. The last 20 games, the Dallas Mavericks have the best defense in the league.
Yeah. Wow.
The last 20 games, their defense.
That's what Gabe Strain here is saying. Get Luka and Kyrie blew up at the end of the season. Dark horses for the title, possibly.
I think so.
I feel like they got so much better when they got rid of Grant Williams. And who's that guy they picked up for Grant from Charlotte? Pretty decent
Likely
guys.
was it the rookie Likely?
No, they drafted him.
The rookie already.
PJ Washington. PJ
Washington, good little player. I've always liked him, and I think he's helped them a lot. Dallas.
I think he's the same type of guy as Grant. Yeah.
Addition by subtraction. Though Grant just never fit in for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And PJ Washington's been what they thought Grant was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Likely as their center
Lively
too.
is their rookie
Lively,
center.
yeah.
And he's one of the top rookies in the league. Yeah.
I just think if they both can get hot, Luka and Kyrie, I think the Clippers are going to have to blow it up because they'll lose in the first round.
Yeah, that's a big question mark. And I think the Clippers are in the same category. I put them with the Suns. It's a big, fat question mark because it's like talented enough to win it. Yes. Would we be surprised if they got bounced first round? No. You just don't know. And
nobody has.
It's just crazy.
Well, and you look at when they first. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, nobody has really that deep run experience except Kawhi. I mean, Russ when he had it when he was young, same with James, but they haven't had that in a while.
Yeah, Rondo.
And James Harden reverted back to the old James Harden. I mean, James Harden. Yeah, he's not what he was when he's not playing like he was when they went 20-5. We're the hottest team in the league.
Yeah.
He's gotten back to his old habits. He's slow. He can't play defense. Now he's not shooting well. And that's changed their whole team around. But Kawhi's going to be healthy for the playoffs, they say.
Yeah,
so
that's huge.
That's a big right there.
Playoff P?
Playoff P, baby!
I mean, you look at when they first got James Harden. They went on a run where they looked like they were just gonna tear up the league too.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, I think Kawhi got hurt a little bit. PG got hurt.
Yeah.
And they started to stink it up. And luckily, they didn't slide out of home court advantage for the first round. But yeah, I mean, like Webb said it. Kawhi is the only one with the deep playoff run, and as far as I know, playoff P and James Harden last couple of playoff runs haven't really been good for them. But if they can get a James Harden that gives them a couple of games with 40 points, they've got a shot. But
if we give them 20 points and 10 assists, they'll be happy.
I would not be surprised that the Mavs beat them. I think either way it goes 7 games. I think
the Mavs will beat them.
I think they do too.
That's going to be a gritty dog.
I think.
Yeah, it's got to go 7.
I think Kawhi is the only. Yeah, And I think Kawhi is the only reason the Clippers team is even taken seriously. You know what I mean? Of the potential of making a run. And that's because we've all seen what Kawhi can do in the past. He can carry teams. He can be so good in the playoffs, control the pace to carry a team to the finals. And he's the only reason I think this Clippers team is ever taken seriously and given the potential of making a run.
Well, and the year that I think it was the year after the play or the bubble, the Mavs with Porzingis, they were up 2-0 on the Clippers. And then Kawhi turned it up and then ended up coming back and winning it, you know. So Kawhi is gonna be he's gonna be the reason they win that series or not, but he needs some help for sure.
Totally different Dallas
He has all the
Maverick
help
team
he
too.
needs, though.
They got Kyrie now, and so
Yeah, Kyrie. That's another thing too. Is if Kyrie
who knows
and
what
Luka,
Kyrie? Yeah, exactly.
if they go nuclear, I don't see the Clippers beating them.
No.
Yeah, and Kyrie's playoff inconsistency since he left Cleveland. I mean, you don't know this map. That's why we don't know if this Mavs team is deep run or losing to the Clippers first round. Like, I think this first round is going to answer so many of these questions that we have of like, all right, who's for real? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a very, very interesting first round.
It could also paint the picture for a pretty different NBA landscape next season, depending on how a lot of these games.
And like I said, I think if the Clippers lose this first series, they're blowing it up.
They almost
can't though. They can't. They don't have any first round picks left. They traded them all.
You're gonna have to trade Paul George to go get him back or someone. I mean,
that was one of the worst trades. Paul George and gave up
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, man. That guy, he was young. He's going to be a star. I mean, Oklahoma City rebuilt their team off that trade. Really.
Yep.
All the number one picks they got and SGA.
It's highway robbery.
But at the end of the day, it's that man that loves riding horses that's going to be standing tall.
So crazy.
I hope he's on a pony when he plays the Celtics.
Like all this, every team
Shetland ponies.
Every team doesn't sleep at night. They're constantly trying to make trade scenarios, trying to build their team from scratch, trying to get all the biggest all-stars, the perfect roster to make it all work, all just to beat a guy who doesn't even care about basketball, who just cares about his horses. They can still go out there and drop a triple-double and beat you. Just so he can go home. Just because this is his job. Like the way we go to work. This is the way he goes to work. You don't care that he's making millions. He don't care that he's an MVP. It's just another day in the office, man.
Second round pick, even, man. Can you believe that?
I love
Second round pick.
I love it. He is like I think I mentioned it on here before, but when he got drafted, it didn't even air on TV. They were still a commercial. I think it was like a Taco Bell commercial or something like that. It was a fast food commercial.
Yeah, but Burger King.
Yeah, and they didn't even get him being drafted. He said he was sleeping anyway, so he didn't even see it, which is typical Jokic.
Yeah.
But
it's really crazy. Not that long ago, they were famous for getting bounced in the second round.
Yep.
It's because he had no help. He had no help. His running mate, no one.
All it took was 1 year.
Like,
all it takes is 1 year.
Sometimes it just takes a couple guys.
Yeah, I mean, the years he was getting bounced, I mean, he didn't have Murray. Michael Porter isn't what he is now, Aaron Gordon wasn't as good.
Well, Murray is hurt for 2 years because of that knee injury in the playoffs.
But nobody knew if they could be taken for real when Murray is healthy.
Yeah.
Because they were doing good when he was. Yeah. And Aaron Gordon, they picked him up mid-year last year, and that nobody realized how big that was. I don't think anybody took it seriously.
And Bruce Brown was a big one too for him last year.
Yeah. I think I would say my Western Conference would probably be the finals for it would probably be Minnesota and the Nuggets. Down there on different ends, aren't they?
They're the 2 and 3 seed.
Yeah.
So that would be a second round matchup right away. Nuggets.
They got to play each other right off.
I mean, OKC can they can get there and have a beat up 2 or 3 seed. I don't know. I'd still pick the Nuggets that come out of the West, but
Well, they're
man,
champs until they're not, you know.
yeah,
So
I don't
I
know.
got
but
I got Clippers Nuggets.
Clippers
Yeah.
Nuggets.
Clippers, Nuggets.
I could
No,
probably, I'd go against you. I'm gonna have to say Dallas and the Nuggets.
I'm going
All right.
OKC Nuggets, man. They're two best teams, and I don't see anybody that close.
Okay, seeing Nuggets, huh? Badagoon?
Just just give me the Nuggets, baby. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
just give me the Nuggets.
it
I don't
don't. I
care
mean,
who.
because everybody else. I mean, you could be like, yeah. I mean, because the Thunder are really good, yeah, 100%. But also, if let's say the Mavs or the Clippers make it out, right? Then they're playing OKC, right?
Hmm.
Right. Whoever makes it out of there plays OKC.
Yeah,
Both
Yeah.
those teams when they're hot. I mean, I think they're scary for. I think they're scary for OKC. I mean, you could say the same thing, like OKC gets hot, but I don't know. It's just different. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, right now it's
Mm.
just Denver for me. Hey, if I could
no,
throw out a feeler, let me get the Pelicans.
Oh,
now if I had to pick somebody in the coming out of the West, it'd have to be Denver, of course. But
Hmm. He said
and that
laser
would
beam
be
pointed at the
that
earth.
would be
You need
that would
one
be
bucket.
that would be a historical
I want the bellies.
final with the Celtics and Nuggets, the contenders,
Yeah.
the two number one, pretty much. You know, I mean, Nuggets tied with Oklahoma City for the first place. They just lost the tiebreak.
That'd be a heavyweight match seeing Celtics Nuggets. Nuggets are the only team I'm pretty sure this season have a winning record against the Celtics.
yeah.
They went
The
2-0
only
against
team.
them.
And
Only
they're
team.
only one or two few game, 1 point at home against the Celtics, against Celtics at home, and the other time the Celtics played like crap and they were in the game the whole way.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
that was a
They
game
played
we
one of
had
their worst games of the year, and they still were within 3 or 4 points in the
Yeah.
last couple of minutes of the game.
And the Celtics have the most stacked roster, no doubt about it. But the Nuggets have the most unguardable guy in the NBA. That's one thing every team has to figure out. No one can guard Jokic.
Mhm.
So it's like if they face the Celtics, it's the ultimate equalizer. That would be such a
Well, and
good
I think
series.
yeah, I mean, literally both those two teams. I mean, you could say both of those teams are probably the most complete teams in the NBA.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
on
Man,
the
what a
respective
series
sides.
that'd
So
be. I think it'd be automatic 7 games.
Oh yeah,
have to be,
not a question. Automatic.
have to be.
It's
Home court would be a big
Series.
one because the Celtics had the best home court in the league by far.
and I
Let's
think the
hope,
Celtics
Yeah.
are like
after last year when they went 5-6 at home, that they won't do that again.
and you know
Yeah.
what's crazy is when we lost to the Hawks at
Oh
home,
my God.
that was the first time we lost to an Eastern Conference team at home since last year in the playoffs. Like, you know how crazy
Did we
that
lose the
is?
Hawks at home? I thought we played in both games in Atlanta. Yeah, we did
Who
play both
was
games. We
it?
lost
Who was
both games.
it?
Yeah,
Maybe it was
both
a
games
team
we lost
after
in
them.
Atlanta.
I'm pretty sure they lost one at home to Atlanta. Yeah.
I don't know because they went 2-2 against Atlanta. And both losses were
No,
at
No, he's
I
talking
think
Atlanta.
about
you're
in the
right.
playoffs. In the playoffs
Oh, the
last year.
playoffs. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They
All right.
sucked again.
One last question we'll answer from Gabe Strain. Who do you think is more important to the Nuggets? Michael, I'm
Porter
blanking
Jr.
right now. Michael Porter, I almost called him Michael Jordan. Michael Porter Jr. or Aaron Gordon? Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon.
It's a question, man.
That's a tough one, but I gotta say Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon,
Yeah.
but Porter's gonna be the X Man in that series, any series, because you know what to
Yeah.
expect from Gordon. But Porter, he gets on a heater, he could change the whole series.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Porter's heater is more impactful than Gordon's, but Gordon probably plays a bigger role.
But
Yeah.
Porter, yeah,
I just
Yeah.
think Gordon's impact on the boards is what helps him. Not to
That's not.
mention you go back to
Yeah.
that game that the second game against the Celtics. You
Aaron
watch
Gordon
that
broke their
back.
backs.
Aaron Gordon was the reason they won that game. He
Yep.
had amazing putbacks. He had timely rebounds. Like it was
Yep.
pretty good. I mean, I just think him. I think he'd be the main reason.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
because when he was drafted, he was really like a star, but his light had dimmed, and coming to Denver, he's really been flying under the radar with Jokic being the star, But man, that guy is still so good, and I think Jokic just makes him that much better. Like he can do all the little things like that at a super elite level. And I think as of right now, yes, no doubt Gordon because he's phenomenal. But I wouldn't doubt if Michael Porter Jr. turns out to be a future All-Star, like repeatedly.
Well, he was going to be the number one pick coming out of college until he tore his knee or hip or something. Tore something
he had back problems since he came out of college.
Back, and so he dropped to number 15 or so, and Denver picked him up. He dropped way back, and because he was going to be the number one pick that year, and it took him a couple of years even to get his injuries behind him and actually play some games. Because the first couple of years he didn't play much at all. His injuries, they were still building him up.
Yeah. So we'll see. Who knows? He could still turn out to be that guy, but. With that being said, guys, I think we'll wrap it up there.
Unicorn.
A lot of interesting things.
Before we go, I just want to say the Orlando Magic are going to upset the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Would that be an upset though? Would it be an upset? I don't know.
All right, we'll find out next week after the first round of the playoffs. We'll be in the middle of the first round of the playoffs next week when we meet back up. But as always, thank you guys for joining. Always a great time. See y'all next week.
Thanks, guys.